How to create SEO-optimized print-on-demand products. That's what we're going to talk about in this video here. I'm going to show you some examples of good products that do indeed follow best SEO practices, and we're going to compare that against products that do not follow these best SEO practices. So you can learn what to do, what to avoid, so that you can ultimately maximize the amount of organic traffic that your products are getting from the search engines. And at the end of this video, I'm also going to show you a tool that completely automates the creation of all these SEO-optimized text inputs for all of your products. Really, the essential starting point of effective SEO is an effective title. The reason the product title is so important is because this is given very strong weight in how the search engines go about ranking and indexing your page. You know, if you think of your product page as containing a bunch of text that technically could go into how the search engines rank your page, they don't treat all of the text equally. Like if you included 1,000 different keywords, your product is not going to equally show up for all of those different keywords. Really, what search engines do is they use different elements on your website page to basically make a determination about what's the key focus of the page, what are the main elements on there, and what is that particular page mostly centered around. And so if you think of your product page as having a sort of budget where there's like 100 SEO dollars to spend, the product title might be like 50 to 70 of those dollars. It's an extremely important component. If you want the more technical specifications behind this, most product pages will actually contain the title and what's called an H1 tag, and this website is no exception here. The H1 tag is basically the main header or main title for your website, and so when search engines crawl your site and look at how it's constructed, they'll look for this to basically find out, like, what is this website all about here? And so whatever text goes inside of here, that's going to be a major determining factor in how the search engines rank your website, what keywords it shows up for, things of that nature. So given the way that it works, it's obviously important to make sure that your title contains some of the most important keywords that you want your product to show up for. The reason this product here is such a bad product listing for SEO purposes is because it doesn't really contain any sort of queries or searches that a person would be typing to look for this exact sort of product. Lazy Sunday, I mean, you could technically say like, okay, it's an appropriate artwork title for the scene here, but a person typing Lazy Sunday into the search engine isn't necessarily looking for a pastel colored artwork image of a sailboat on a calm ocean with a clear blue sky behind it. It's a pretty ambiguous term and there's a lot of shit that could show up for it. And so this comparison example here is a fantastic contrast against that one, which shows you how you should be thinking about this. Really, this particular product title does a couple things well. Number one, it includes appropriate keywords that accurately describe what this image actually depicts. It's describing the artwork style, you know, it's using the appropriate terminology and descriptors. And so if a person is searching the internet for something like a surreal digital portrait that includes food, and they type that into Google, this is the sort of search term where if this particular product showed up for it, a person would see it and they'd be likely to click on it because it catches their attention and it just aligns with what they were looking for. Same with this other keyword here, same concept behind it. Let's say a person is searching for an abstract geometric composition portrait of a person and they type that into Google. Again, this is a much more precise, specific term where this is a suitable search result compared against something broad and vague like Lazy Sunday here. Something else this title does well is it also includes the actual product that you're selling. This one here, you might say, whatever, it's self-evident that it's a poster if they just look at the store and they just look at the mock-up images and stuff. The search engine can't read your fucking mind. So you need to be very explicit with the terms and keywords you include in here. And you have to ask yourself, you know, what sort of terms are just like the goldmine ones, where if a person typed this into the search engine and my product showed up for it, it would just be like an absolute, you know, center of the dartboard bullseye for that query. So if the product that you're selling is a wall poster, I mean, don't be fucking shy about it, you know, include that in the title up here. So that when a person searches the internet for poster wall art featuring an abstract geometric portrait, including food, you know, they're going to scroll down, look at the search results. You really just maximize the ability of your products to show up in the search engines. You're also going to notice that this product title here doesn't just include one particular set of keywords like this. It instead includes several here. Again, this just sort of maximizes your reach and there's a little bit of overlap. These are just different descriptors and terms and keywords that could be used to describe the style of artwork, because all three of these queries are the type of thing that if a person searched for it, this would be a good result for it. You don't want to push this too far to where it's keyword stuffing. If you include, you know, 20,000 keywords inside of here, search engines obviously frown upon that. It's called keyword stuffing, and that's not likely to help your product listings. By the way, this example here and some of the other ones I'll show you, all of this SEO stuff was actually automatically generated by this bulk POD product creator tool. I'm going to show you this later in the video. This is a tool that allows you to automate the creation of your print-on-demand products to where instead of you needing to sit here and do a fucking research project about what terms to use and just doing this for the titles and descriptions and tags for dozens or even hundreds of products, instead you can just pass your images through this tool. It'll create the products automatically on your store, and it'll automatically create the inputs here using AI image recognition. Now, another Another reason it's important to be pretty exact and accurately descriptive of what the images actually contain, instead of using some sort of, metaphorical term or something that's ambiguous, is because another important component of search engine optimization is what is the click-through rate of your particular listing. Because if Google decides to show your product for a term like abstract geometric portrait, if it shows up and nobody fucking clicks on it, Google and the other search engines, they use that information to basically tell them, okay, this product is actually a shitty result for this particular search term. It's going to push you further and further down in the rankings and eventually just make it so your product just doesn't even show up for that. If you're selling just, a very specific size or just a very specific style, you could include more terms and descriptors specific to what you're selling. Maybe you could say poster wall art, gloss, 24 by 36 inches, something like that. If you're including tons of different sizes, obviously you don't want to restrict yourself just to that. But if your product focus is very narrow in scope like that, while the amount of volume for a search like this isn't going to be very high, this makes it a really solid bullseye search term, to where if a person is searching for a 24 by 36 gloss poster featuring a surreal digital portrait that includes food, once your listing shows up, it's just going to be a banger bullseye search result. People are going to be much more likely to click on it and ultimately make a purchase on your store. So that's the product title side of things. Another important component of SEO for print-on-demand sellers is the actual URL itself of your product page. Now, the good news for you is practically any e-commerce store that you use and sell your products through will basically automatically convert the title of your product listing to the actual URL string. I would just try to make sure if you can go in and customize it further, like what Shopify allows you to do, you could just go in and push it a little further. Mindset is everything, motivational, canvas, wall art. It's a small thing, it's a minor tweak, but it's something that can help to give your products a little boost in the search engines. Another critical part of SEO for print-on-demand products is going to be the description. Now, again, we'll start with the bad example here. This one only includes the really generic information about the product generally that you're selling. Enhance the decor of any home with posters, available in multiple sizes, matte paper finish. Again, if a person is merely searching for a poster, what is the probability that this exact poster art design is exactly what they're looking for? It's extremely low, making your chances extremely low that this particular product would ever show up and rank for any of these terms here. Again, this is where specificity and accurate descriptions of exactly what your products and images contain is critical for print-on-demand sellers. Now, this is another one where keyword stuffing can come into play here. You don't want to sit here and type like a 20,000 word description that includes every possible fucking art term imaginable known to man. Really, I would just focus on a concise, maybe 1 to 2 paragraph description of the artwork. Again, you want it to be as accurate as possible. You want it to accurately describe the image. Really, the best thinking framework for anything SEO is just ask yourself, if a person typed this particular word or keyword or set of words into a search engine and my product showed up, would this just be a terrific search result for that particular query? If the answer is yes, you're doing SEO correctly. So for this particular product, the description talks about surreal digital artwork, combining a stylized human head with a deconstructed sandwich. It talks about the teal background against coral and magenta elements. So if a person is searching the internet for a poster wall art piece featuring an abstract geometric portrait that includes teal and coral colors, again, how many people are going to search something that narrowly specific? It's not going to be a fucking lot. But the ones that do search for it are going to land on your page, say that's what the fuck I'm talking about. They're going to be way more likely to buy it, and they'll probably be willing to spend more money on it if it's exactly what they're looking for. A lot of people, when they're writing descriptions and stuff like that for their products, they seem to think that getting all metaphorical and deep and writing some sort of confusing, vague prose is the way to go. You might come here and try to type some sort of aspirational bullshit. The journey isn't always easy. It's oftentimes difficult, but if you struggle through it, the rewards can be tremendous. And sometimes you just need a day off to relax and unwind. Blah, blah, blah. Just a bunch of bullshit where you're trying to sound all deep and metaphorical. It's really just a wasted opportunity to get your product to show up for the type of shit that people wanting to buy this would be typing into a search engine. What does this artwork depict? It's a fucking sailboat on a calm ocean featuring pastel colors. Why don't you put that in your fucking description? This isn't rocket science, but a lot of people make it way harder on themselves than it needs to be. Couple other quick examples that do follow these best practices. This one here, it's a classy portrait of a panda. Our SEO-optimized product title, it's no bullshit, it's straight to the point. It tells you it's a poster wall art piece featuring a gentleman panda, a Victorian era portrait, anthropomorphic animal art, whimsical wildlife painting. Same for this one here, similar concept. Talks about the mesmerizing beauty of desert sand dunes bathed in warm golden light. Talks about how it's a minimalist composition. It's not trying to wow you with any metaphors or creative poetry. It just tells you what the fuck the image contains, and it does it very effectively and very accurately. And then another component of SEO for print-on-demand sellers is going to be the tags for your products. Now, this is generally seen as actually less important for SEO purposes. If you want to talk about the SEO budget that I mentioned earlier, the product title might get 50 to 70 of your dollars, and then the description might get another 10 or 20. The tags might get you a couple of bucks, like 5 to 10 at the most. Still, it can help to give you a boost, depending on where you're selling your products. Maybe if it's Etsy or something, I mean, these could play a role in how your products get categorized. Again, same concept applies, just include accurate descriptive terms, where if a person was searching for these or combinations of these terms and your product showed up, cool, the person would say, this is an excellent result, this is what I'm looking for, let me take my wallet out. And of course, if people are actually searching on your store itself, where they come here and they're searching for, basketball, artwork, abstract, or something like that, again, as long as your description and tags are including these appropriate descriptive terms, it makes it more likely that somebody can search your site and find what they're looking for. As promised, I'm going to show you this automation tool called the Bulk POD Product Creator, which completely automates the creation of your print-on-demand products, including the process of coming up with SEO-optimized titles, descriptions, and tags for each of your created products. So while it's important to do all of this SEO stuff, it's frankly a huge pain in the ass that can get really boring and repetitive. Just sitting here and racking your brain to think of the appropriate terms and keywords and descriptors that you want it to show up for, making sure it's accurate. Even typing a paragraph like this for just one product is pretty boring stuff. But if you're doing it for dozens or hundreds of products you're creating, this is something that'll take you hours of time, and it's just going to be some really boring, repetitive work. Luckily for you, this automation tool does all this work for you using AI image recognition. I'm just going to quickly show you how to use it so that you can automate this process. Step 1, select your image files. That's pretty straightforward. You can just go choose files. I'm going to select all of these artwork images here in this folder, and we have our 45 artwork images selected. What this tool does is it'll basically create a new print-on-demand product for each one of these artwork images. So down here, you just specify the product that you want to create more of, and for each one of these artwork images, this tool will just create a new one of those products. Step 3, this is where you set up the rules for the titles, descriptions, and tags. So if you want to automate all of this SEO stuff, you can just toggle generate using AI for all 3 of these options here. So for the product titles, to replicate what we were doing, you would just select the compound AI title option. Number of subtitle segments, you could set it to 2 or 3, and then you just add this custom text here into this section, and it'll basically append this custom text to each of your created products. So it'll give you the AI generated part here for each new product, and it'll just tack this onto the end of it here. Descriptions, that's pretty straightforward. You can just specify how many paragraphs you want to do. I would recommend just 1 or 2 maximum. Beyond that, I don't think you're going to get much of an SEO boost anyway. Here you can also add custom HTML, so this is useful if you have sort of the generic information about your product, like the paper finish, the sizes that are available, just the generic information about what it is generally that you're selling. You can just come here to copy the source code, and that'll basically make it so this little segment here, styled however it is, with whatever you have applied, it'll basically just add that to each description. So we'll just dump that to the end. It'll give you the AI generated paragraph first, plus that custom stuff at the end of it. And then for the tags, you can just specify how many tags you want it to generate. I'll just stick with 20. I think that's fine. These are going to be the tags describing the artwork images themselves. And then if you want to include the generic tags about what you're selling, you can say poster, poster wall art, art prints, wall decor, poster, prints, and it'll include these tags for each of the products that it makes. That's really it. That's the setup process. You just come here, click create my products, and it's going to automatically generate all your products for you. So we're going to go back to our products page here and click refresh, and then we'll take a gander at some of the created outputs. So here we are. We're going to pop a couple of these bad boys open. We'll just sort of select random assortments. This first one here, the title that it came up with, fragmented identity, surreal pop art portrait, colorful face segmentation, modern abstract representation. Super accurate. Absolutely nailed it on that. And then the description down here talks about striking digital artwork, which blends surrealism and pop art, featuring a figure whose face is segmented by vibrant, colorful bands. And then down here, we have the custom stuff that we pasted in there and appended to each product. And finally, the tags down here. These were the generic tags, poster, poster wall art, art prints, and then the specific tags that the AI model came up with. Contemporary art, color bands, abstract face, geometric shapes. This other one here, cubic consciousness, surreal digital art, geometric abstract portrait, colorful architectural identity. Once again, just totally nailed it in its understanding of the image, its contents, what it contains, using the appropriate terms, keywords, all that good stuff. Couple more quick ones it created. This one here, cosmic rider, astronaut motorcycle adventure, psychedelic space art, futuristic digital illustration. Again, totally crushed it in its understanding and description of the image. And you can imagine if somebody's searching for a psychedelic astronaut on a motorcycle on a poster art print, including all of these terms and descriptors just makes it highly likely that your product will show up and just just be a solid search result for that particular query. Anyway, there's a link in the description if you want to check this tool out. It's a tremendous time saver for any print-on-demand seller. Drop a like if you found this helpful. That's all I got for now. Thank you guys for watching, and see you later.